So here's a quick intro on how to use Wamap. This example is from, of course, spring 2021 for my Math 141 class. It looks something like this when you open it up. But before we actually start talking about the class itself, let's go back to the home screen. And I want us to make sure we've got our settings set up correctly. We click this little gear, and I want to make sure that, number one, you've got an email in there that you actually check on a daily basis, or as much as possible, because that's the email that I'll email you when I send you messages. Also, I'd like you to check this box to make sure that when I do message you in Wamap, you get sent an email saying it happened. I'd love for you to have a picture uploaded. You just hit the browse. This is my picture of my dog. Honestly, if you feel uncomfortable with that, feel free to maybe put a picture of your favorite superhero or something like that. But just something just to make it fun when we're messaging each other. And then lastly, set up push notifications on this device. If you hit set up notifications there, what it does is when I do send a message, you'll get a ping saying it's happened. I would do that on the thing that you use the most, whether it's your computer or your phone. You hit set up notifications and then update info. I realized that I had forgotten to actually hit save, so I'm going to go back in. See, look, that check mark wasn't checked, and I'm going to go ahead and hit update info. And now if I go back in, it would be good for you to just double check that this thing is checked. Let's go into the course itself. So a couple things. One, whenever you log in, you should always check your messages. I send messages on a regular basis, so it's good to check them. So this is me as a student. This is my first message. That's how you check a message. And of course you can reply, delete it, etc. And then once you've read it and understand it, go back to the main screen. And let's talk about this page. Couple things. I do allow notes on quizzes, but there are things that are not allowed. This list is going to get added to as time goes on, but right now, example problems are not going to be allowed on note sheets. You can find out more about the note sheet in the syllabus. Also, I have a folder on here's how you, right? Wamap may be new, or you may not know how to do something on Wamap. There's different things in here that show you how to do things. So that's just a folder for you to have access to. You have online tutoring. I put the link at the top so that you can get in there. And this is the STEM study room, which they have tutors that will help you. Then there's a link to the textbook. You can get access to the textbook really quickly. This is the whole textbook, and you have the whole book there. And then this is really important. I send a whole bunch of information on Wamap itself visually. I find that I understand things best visually, and one of the hardest things to do is communicate to students online. So I find that visual helps. At least I hope it helps. I'll usually have things above the calendar that's important for you to look at. It'll change on a regular basis. And then here's the calendar, and most of the stuff that I do is on the calendar. If you look under the calendar, there's all sorts of week information, right? You just hit the arrows to open things up, etc., and close them. You can see what's in every week, but I actually don't go into the folders too much. I do everything on the calendar. So you can see what's due, and you can see that on the 5th of this month, for this quarter that I'm talking about, there's a video assignment due. How you hit assignments, or how you get into assignments from the calendar, is you click on the day it's due, you click the assignment link at the bottom of the calendar, and hit start after reading the instructions, of course. And you're going to have some videos to watch as well as questions to answer. So there's video assignments to do. I'm going to hit go back to the main page. After you do your video assignments, there's homework to do. You can see right here, geometry homework. There's a lot of other things too, but let's look at the geometry homework and start it. Let me go ahead and do one to show you how we use the forum. Find the midpoint of the line segment. I'm just going to make something that's wrong. I think it's 1, 1. I hit enter. Oh, I got it wrong. I can either get a similar question if I made just a silly mistake. 2, 2, maybe it is. You can see that the question changed actually. That's wrong too. If I'm really stuck, I can post this to the forum. So there's discussion forums in the course, which is really important to use because that's how I talk to you about the mathematics when you're stuck. Hit post thread, and you can either hit it there to see it, but I also want you to know that if you're on the main page, you can just hit forums or forums there. In our discussion forum for chapter 1, if you open it up, there's your question that you can see that I posted. Of course, if you're want to help other students, you can reply and answer. So back to the problem, this is our homework. I'm going to go back out to the main page. You can see this first week, there's all sorts of things to do. And many of them are things we will not have to do after this first week. For example, how the class works quiz, student ID and phone number, etc. One thing I do want you to notice is on the 11th here, on Sunday, this says there's a quiz, and it's going to appear here on Saturday morning. So every Saturday morning, a quiz will appear, unless it's an abnormal week. And then you can do it, but you have to turn in a note sheet. That's information about that is in the syllabus. This will become available, I believe, Friday usually for you to upload a note sheet. I approve it, and then you're allowed to do the quiz. Also, this first week, there's a quiz on academic integrity before you can even turn in this note sheet. So there's a lot to do at the very beginning. Of course, if you're wondering about your grades, you can go into the grade book. It looks like this student has already done something, and you can open it up and you can see your questions and you can see your answer, and there's my wrong answer from previously. And that's pretty much it for the basics. Definitely let me know if you have questions. I look forward to this quarter.